Hello everyone. So we are continuing with the Indian polity and this is the fourth video of this series. In this video we are going to cover all the details related to the passage of the Indian Constitution and then we will see the salient features of Indian Constitution in this very video. This series is relevant for examinations like IAS Prelims examinations, all the states PCS examinations including UPPCS, BPSC, Karnataka PCS, Telangana PCS, Tamil Nadu PCS, Maharashtra PCS, Kerala PCS, Assam PCS, West Bengal PCS, Manipur PCS, MPPSC or any other state PCS including EPFO 2020, CDS, SSC or any other government examinations. Because in government examinations, Indian polity or Indian Constitution plays a major role in selection of any aspirant. So be attentive and be focused, and if you are finding my videos useful, don't forget to like the video, share the video with your friends and loved ones. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, press on the subscribe button below and press the bell icon as well so that you never miss any opportunity to learn and grow every day with all the latest notifications from this channel. And if you are not following our daily current affairs videos, then do watch those videos as well. Let's begin now. But first you have to answer one question in the comment section based on the readings of last video. The question is, when did the Constituent Assembly held its first meeting? These are the options. Read the options very carefully. The options might confuse you, so be careful while reading the options and then answer it in the comment section. Let's begin. See, last day we have seen some details and composition of Constituent Assembly. So if you have not watched that video, do watch that video too. And today we are going to see how Constituent Assembly passed the Constitution of India. So Constituent Assembly, apart from working as Constituent Assembly, it also worked as legislative body. The function of legislative body is to pass the ordinary laws of the land. So as a legislative body, Constituent Assembly used to make ordinary laws for India as well. And apart from it, it also worked as Constituent Assembly. So we can say that this assembly or Constituent Assembly was the first parliament of free India, and this as legislative body it was called as Dominion Legislature because till the time Constitution was adopted and came into force, India was dominion of British Empire. And whenever the Constituent Assembly met as constituent body, it was chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and when it met as legislative body, it was chaired by G.V. Mavlankar. So here you have to focus on minute details. In this video we are going to see very minute details, so you have to be attentive in the entire video till the end. So remember that when this body met as constituent body, it was chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, while when it met as legislative body that was to pass the ordinary law or make laws for India, it was chaired by G.V. Mavlankar. I hope you will remember the difference here. And it is to be noted that the total strength of the assembly came down to 299. Earlier the sanctioned strength was 389 when the Constituent Assembly was composed in 1946 under the recommendation of Cabinet Mission Plan. However, after the Muslim League boycotted the Constituent Assembly, the number was reduced to 299, and later on the numbers of members in Indian provinces or the British provinces was also reduced from 296 to 229, and those members who were from princely states included only 70. So 229 plus 70, it total came to 299. So 299 members were total in Constituent Assembly. Remember this data, very important data, 299. And apart from these two functions, that was passage of or making the ordinary laws for India and making an adoption of the Constitution of India, Constituent Assembly performed many other functions. So we are now going to see what were the other functions performed by Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly ratified India's membership of the Commonwealth in May 1949. Constituent Assembly adopted the national flag on 22nd of July 1947. Now you have to remember this day. This day is very important, that the national flag was adopted in India on 22nd of July 1947. You can remember with just a basic concept that if any country is going to get independence, it must have an identity. That identity is marked by its national flag. So it was important to have a national flag before independence. So India got independence on 15th of August 1947. So before that, it was necessary to have a flag. So on July 22nd only in 1947, India adopted the national flag, and national anthem and national song was adopted on 24th of January 1950. So 2 days before, when the constitution came into force on 26th of January 1950, 2 days before, national anthem and national song was adopted by India, and it elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first president of India on January 24th, 1950. So here it is easy to remember, as three important events took place on 24th of January, and in total Constituent Assembly had 11 sessions over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. Sometimes in one-day examinations they tend to ask such facts as well. However, it has not much relevance for UPSC examination. So still you can remember that Constituent Assembly met for 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, and the constitution makers had gone through constitution of 60 countries. So they read the constitution of 60 countries, whatever they found best and suitable for Indian scenario, they took it from them. For instance, we took inspiration of directive principle of state policies from Irish constitution. We took inspiration of fundamental rights from American constitution. So several other provisions were inspired from many other constitutions. For instance, fundamental duties were inspired from the Russian constitution or USSR constitution at that time. Now let's move ahead. The total expenditure incurred on making of the constitution was 64 lakh. Again you can remember it, 64 lakh rupees was incurred on the making of the Constitution of India. And it was 24th of January 1950 when the Constituent Assembly held its final session. So the final session of Constituent Assembly held on 24th of January 1950. However, Constituent Assembly did not end, and it continued as Provisional Parliament of India till the time the new parliament was formed after the general elections in 1951-1952. So again here a question may confuse you that the final day on which the Constituent Assembly met was 26th of January 1950, but that will be wrong. It was 24th of January 1950 when the Constituent Assembly held its final session, and from 26th it came into force. However, many provisions came into force before. We are going to see it next. So here you have to be aware of the pattern of questions which different examinations make, as despite reading the book many times we mark incorrect options in examinations because we don't take test very seriously. Tests are very seriously. You can hear the interviews of many aspirants or successful aspirants. They have taken several tests very seriously, and that too on timely basis. If they have taken 100 questions, they tend to solve it in less than 2 hours, that is within 1.5 hours, so that in examinations, even if they are under pressure, they can solve it within 2 hours, because in examinations you will and you are bound to get lesser time, as they will ask you to sign several papers. So you have to be in the habit of solving these papers, particularly the previous year papers, test papers, in less than 2 hours. Then only you can solve the papers in examinations on time. Let's see next. The Constituent Assembly appointed a number of committees to deal with different tasks of constitution making. Out of this, 8 were the major committees and other were minor committees. We have to know in detail about these 8 major committees, what were the functions performed by these committees, who were the chairman of these committees. We will see these minute details in test when we will organize the test series for Indian Polity. After completion of Indian Polity series here, we will see many other details in the test. And Dr. Ambedkar introduced final draft of the Constitution in Assembly on November 4th, 1948, and the motion on draft Constitution was declared as passed on November 26th, 1949. So remember that it was Dr. Ambedkar who introduced the final draft of Constitution in the Constituent Assembly on November 4th, 1948, as Dr. Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee which has the responsibility of drafting the Constitution of India. And this motion was adopted on November 26th, 1949. And this was the day which was later mentioned in the preamble of India, and it was said that on this very day, that is on November 26, 1949, we the people of India do hereby adopt, enact and give the Constitution of India to ourselves. So November 26, 1949 was the day when the Constitution was enacted and adopted. And out of total 299 members of the Assembly, only 284 were actually present on that day and signed the Constitution. Remember, only 284 members were present on that day, not all members. And the original Constitution had only 395 articles, 8 schedules. At present, we have 12 schedules, as several schedules were added by the later amendments in the Constitution. And the preamble was enacted after the entire Constitution was already enacted. So here this statement is very important for UPSC aspirants especially. The preamble was enacted after the entire Constitution was enacted already. And some provisions of the Constitution, including provisions related to citizenship, elections, provisional parliament, temporary and transitional provisions and short title, which were included in Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 388, 391, 392, 393 came into force on November 26, 1949 itself. That was the day on which the Constitution was adopted and enacted. However, major portions of the Constitution came into force on 26th of January 1950. That is why 26th of January 1950 has been chosen as the day in which or on which the Constitution came into force. Why the day of 26th of January was chosen only? Why not the day of 25th January or later on? Because this was the day which has some historical importance. On 26th of January, Purna Swaraj was celebrated while India was struggling for freedom. So that is why this day was chosen. Now we are going to see criticism of Constituent Assembly. So critics say that Constituent Assembly was not a representative body. So this criticism was true to some extent, because in previous videos we have seen that in Constituent Assembly members came from princely states and from Indian provinces, that is British India. So British India or members who were coming from British India were indirectly elected by members of provincial council, while members who were coming from princely states were in fact nominated by heads of those princely states or Rajas of princely states. So no member was directly elected to this Constituent Assembly. That is why it is said that it was not representative body. Representative means the body or the persons or representative which represent people. For instance, as of now, we have Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, MPs are directly elected by people of India. So we can say that our Lok Sabha is a representative body. But Constituent Assembly was not a representative body, as members of it were either partly elected or partly nominated, and that too election was held indirectly, not directly. Then critics say that it was not a sovereign body. They say that Constituent Assembly was formed on the permission of British government and it met with the prior permission of British government. However, this criticism is not correct, because though Constituent Assembly of India was formed with the prior permission of British government, however, this body was completely free to take any decision to repeal any act it wishes to. It was not under bondage of any government or any external force. It repealed several laws which were made by colonial government, and it took many provisions from its own wish. So we can say that it was completely a sovereign body. Then critics say that there was one party dominance in Constituent Assembly, it was primarily dominated by Congress. Though in first instance, when you will have a look on Constituent Assembly, it appears that it was primarily dominated by Congress. However, it cannot be denied that at the time of independence of India, Congress was a party which represented the entire India. In the Congress, many members represented the different communities. There were members which represented Muslim community, there were members which represented scheduled caste. For instance, many members who were not elected even was invited in Constituent Assembly. For instance, Ambedkar was invited by Nehru to be the chairman of drafting committee, the committee which has the most important function of drafting the constitution itself. Then critics say that it was time consuming and it is lengthy. this criticism is correct to an extent, because several constitution, in fact in US the constitution was formed within a few months. However, in India it took years to form the constitution, and it is lengthy too, because there are many more articles than many other constitutions of the world. In many countries there are not more than even 30 articles in many constitutions of different countries. However, in India we have more than 400 articles as of now, and it was dominated by Hindus. Critics say that it was primarily dominated by Hindus. In a reply to this criticism, we can say that though majority of members were Hindus, but we cannot deny the fact that these Hindu members were even most secular personalities of that time. They did not hesitate to speak against even their own community, and it was these persons who decided that India should go for a secular state, and India became a secular state. India gave all the provisions, all the rights to all persons of different communities to accept, propagate, practice their own religion, while it was dominated by lawyers. This criticism is correct to an extent. It was dominated by several lawyers. That is why we see that there are several technical provisions in the constitution, and this makes Indian constitution too technical to be understood by common masses of the country. A country where the literacy rate is not even higher to many developed countries. They say that constitution should be such that even a common man can easily understand it. Then let's see some important facts about the constitution. Elephant was chosen as the symbol or seal of Constituent Assembly. Then Sir B.N. Rao was appointed as the constitutional or legal advisor to the Constituent Assembly. Remember the name, very important. These names are: Sir B.N. Rao was chosen as legal advisor to Constituent Assembly. H.V.R. Younger was the secretary to Constituent Assembly. Then we have S.N. Mukherjee, who was the chief draftsman of Constitution in the Constituent Assembly. Prem Bihari Narayan Rajada, who was calligrapher of Indian Constitution. The original Constitution was handwritten by Prem Bihari Narayan Rajada. So this name is very important. Prem Bihari Narayan Rajada wrote the original Constitution by his own hands in italic style, and the original version was beautified and decorated by artists from Santiniketan, including Nandlal Bose and Jawahar Ram Manohar Sinha. And Jawahar Ram Manohar Sinha also illuminated, beautified, ornamented the original preamble. Why here the term original preamble is written? Because preamble was later amended, and a few terms including integrity, socialism was added in the preamble. So remember the name, Jawahar Ram Manohar Sinha illuminated, ornamented the original preamble of the Constitution. It was calligraphed by Prem Bihari Narayan Rajada, and the calligraphy of Hindi version of the original Constitution was done by Vasant Krishnan Vaidya and elegantly decorated and illuminated by Nandlal Bose. Now we will see the salient features of Indian Constitution. But before that, if you have not liked the video yet, do like the video, share the video with your friends and loved ones. So let's begin. Salient features of the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is the lengthiest written constitution. We have seen how it is lengthiest, as we have many articles, many schedules and many parts. It is drawn from various sources, as constitution has several provisions which are drawn from different constitution of different countries. For instance, DPSP's Directive Principle of State Policies has been drawn from Irish Constitution. Provisions of emergency has been drawn from the Constitution of Weimar Republic. We have to see several other provisions which were drawn from and inspired from constitution of different countries. We will see all those details in the test series of polity. For now, we are moving ahead. And Indian Constitution is blend of rigidity and flexibility. See, Indian Constitution is said to be blend of rigidity and flexibility because Indian Constitution, some of the provisions of the Constitution can be amended very easily by the Parliament of India itself. However, there are some of the provisions, particularly those provisions which are related to federal structure of the Constitution, can be amended only after a special majority of Parliament plus approval by half of the states. And Indian Constitution is federal system with unitary bias. See, we have federal system because Constitution itself divides the power between center and states. when a body or a system is called to be federal, when the constitution divides the power between different organs of government and at the different levels of government, then it is called as federal government. So in India, constitution divides the power between center and states. So Indian political system is federal system, but Indian political system is also unitary bias. For instance, provisions like appointment of governor in the states by central government, emergency powers to the presidents, all India bodies, for instance civil services including IAS, IPS, these are the certain examples which shows that India is a unitary bias system. That is, the federal system is biased towards union government. It means that union government has more power over states, and Indian system is parliamentary form of government. Then we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. This is a key provision here. This is a key feature of Indian Constitution. Parliament has power to amend, enact and pass any law of its own choice, while judicial supremacy here means that judiciary has the power to repeal and to declare any law passed by parliament as null and void, as violative of the constitution or going against the basic structure of the constitution. Then other salient features of the constitution are integrated and independent judiciary. What does the integrated word means? The integrated word means judiciary in India is integrated, which means that judiciary at all the levels, be it Supreme Court, be it High Court or be it the lower court, all levels of court can enforce both central laws as well as the state laws. That is why it is said that in India judiciary is integrated, because all level of judiciary or courts can implement both central laws as well as state laws. And India judiciary is independent, that is, executive or government cannot interfere in the functions of judiciary. While fundamental rights, we have fundamental rights in part 3rd of the constitution from article 12 to article 35, which we will see later on. Then we have directive principle of state policy, which is mentioned in part 4 from article 36 to article 51st. And then we have fundamental duties. We have total 11 fundamental duties which was inspired by the Soviet Republic Constitution, and this fundamental duties is mentioned in part 4 of the constitution. Remember one fact, that fundamental duties was not mentioned in original constitution. It was later on added by constitutional amendment. Then India is a secular state. We have provide fundamental rights to community of all religion to follow their own religion. And then we have universal adult franchise. All persons in India above the age of 18 years are qualified to vote, and they have voting right irrespective of caste, creed, sex or belonging to any religion. Then we have single citizenship. Indian constitution forbids the grant of dual citizenship. We have provision of single citizenship only. And then we have 3-tier government, that is government at the central level or union level, then state government, then at lower level, provided by 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, that is Panchayati Raj system and urban local bodies. So I hope you find the video useful. Don't forget to like the video, wait for the upcoming video. Until then, stay at your home, stay safe, and thanks a lot.